Okay, so I'm going to start off sharing my story, and then we have a couple other people sharing their stories. Megan and Emily are going to, as well as Jen. And then at the end, I'm going to kind of wrap it all up and explain how to get started as a coach. So, anyways, I am, let's see where to start. The beginning of the story. Okay, so most of you know some of this story, but pieces will fall into place and make more sense, hopefully, as I get going. So Tony and I got married, and we had struggled financially from day one. I mean, actually, it started back when you were on that trip with me to Tijuana, and I got called out to quit my job. This, headman is killing me here. Okay. I got called out to quit my job bartending then, and I was just a librarian making a good solid $8.50 an hour. So glad I went to college to do that with my life. And so that whole summer I was looking for another job, and Tony and I had gotten engaged, and we're going to get married in September. And I found a job right before we got married, working in higher education. And Tony at that time was actually a meat cutter at a store. And about a month after we got married, he got laid off. And so it was like 1 month after we got married when he started struggling financially. And he started looking for another job, ended up getting in a ministry where, long story short, it just didn't really pay very much. I felt like we were constantly trying to just catch up. We weren't even catching up, really. We were getting further behind, but I think that I was just trying to stay positive that we were going to get ahead at some point. And we had a lot of debt. I mean, I had college loans. Tony was in college at the time. We had just bought a house. I think maybe I had bought the house before we got married, maybe the year before. And not long after we got married, things, like I said, things just slowly got worse and worse and worse. And then Tony's car got repossessed, which was one of the most embarrassing times of my life. And it's just funny to laugh about now, because it's you think back to those first parts of your marriage and you're like, whew, glad we made it through that. But anyways, so after that, I switched jobs and started working at Indiana Wesleyan University, and Tony was brought on to the church. At that time, it was supposed to be full-time, but the pay was terrible. We found out later they were only paying him for 30 hours a week. It was a long, crazy, drawn-out story. But anyways, needless to say, we were struggling even worse, and I was struggling to get pregnant. We had had several miscarriages, and I hadn't ovulated for a year because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which just makes your ovaries just do their own thing. And when I finally got pregnant, I really wanted to stay home with my daughter. I wanted to stay home with her, and I desperately didn't want to be living in poverty, which just kind of seemed like it went hand in hand. Tony's finally, right before Dayo was born, he started working in construction as well to make more money. But I was just okay, we've been struggling all these years, and we're just never going to get ahead. We're just going to constantly live in poverty. And I just really had that doom and gloom, when it came to finances. And as most of you know, we wanted to foster, we wanted to adopt. I mean, for goodness sakes, we brought Danny home from an orphanage in Mexico because we desperately wanted to be parents. And he was already 18 years old. I mean, how many people can say they have a son that's only 7 years younger than them? Not very many. But, my husband grew up in foster care and was adopted at the age of 16. And I really felt like there was something in my life I was called to that was bigger than just, I don't know, working a 9 to 5. And so when Dahlia was born, I knew I was going to quit my job already. I knew that before I had her. I was going on maternity leave, and I knew I had 3 months to figure out what I was going to do to make some money. And my sister asked me to be a Beachbody coach, and I honestly thought it was a big old scam. I was like, oh my lordy, this is one of those things where like nobody's making any money. I had never heard of Beachbody. I had never done anything health and fitness related. I'd never eaten healthy. My skewed view of healthy was just not eating so I could lose weight. It was like, you know how like you can check like, when you're going through the grocery store, you're like, oh, it says low fat, or it says, no added sugar, but really like low fat's not always good for you. And no added sugar could mean lots of crappy sugars are added. So I didn't know any of that. So I was just like, oh, I think if I like just eat less, my dad always said, well, if you just eat less and move more, you'll lose weight. And so like at that time in my life, I literally like drank a Mountain Dew for breakfast. Like, good job, Candelyn. Like, you did only consume 240 calories for breakfast, but it rotted your insides. So anyways, that was kind of how I was. And I knew that I had struggled with anorexia and bulimia, and I didn't want my daughter to deal with that. And so when Sharon asked me to be a Beachbody coach, I was kind of just like, almost like I decided to do it just almost on a whim. Like, please, Lord, let this be something that would work for me. Like I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to learn about health and fitness. I wanted to feel confident, and I wanted to make money from home, and I wanted to not live in poverty for the rest of my life. And even though I wasn't sure if I even like believed it could happen, I knew I had no other choice. Like, what else was I going to do? I had already looked at every work from home job. I had tried babysitting and literally like wanted to shoot my brains out and was like, I think I'd rather live in poverty than do this. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it. I'll try it out. I'll do your thing, Sherilyn, whatever it is. And I will tell you, I was completely against Shakeology at first too. I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to drink a shake for my meal. I want to eat real food. And then I realized that like, I hate to cook, so why wouldn't I want to have a shake that's full of awesome stuff that tastes like a milkshake, and I don't even have to cook it? Like today, Tony and I were about to go on a walk, and it's really hard being pregnant to go on a walk and walk past all these like food places and not stop. So our new plan is like, we'll drink our shake while we walk, so we're not stopping to eat. But anyway, so here I am, I'm making the shake, and I made coffee mixed with vanilla, and then I put some hazelnut extract in it, and it tastes like an iced hazelnut coffee. It was awesome, and I didn't even have to cook. Like, what more could a person want in life? But anyways, so I started off with this view of like, okay, this is probably going to not work. This is probably not going to be as awesome as my sister's telling me it is. Because at that time in my life, I was such a Debbie Downer. I like did not believe in anything. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in anything. And so I was like, fine, I'll do it. Actually, when I got the 21 Day Fix containers, I was like, I called my sister up and I seriously said, I think I'm going to starve to death and die. She's like, did you look at how many of each container you get? You get more than one. I literally thought I only got one of each container because I refused to read it. She's like, okay, breathe. Go look at your book they sent you and like you figure out what category you're in, blah, blah, blah. And so it wasn't as bad as I had anticipated, and it taught me how to eat healthy. And just through this whole thing, I've learned a lot of healthy recipes that are delicious. And even though I still hate to cook, but so I lost 41 pounds and felt, better than I ever had, not just because I was skinnier, but because I felt strong. I didn't realize at that time in my life that feeling strong was such a great feeling. And I felt strong and I felt confident. And I had my first challenge group, and several of the women in that group just in 1 month's time were like, I cannot believe how amazing this is. I cannot believe, that I'm feeling confident. I can't believe that I am, losing weight or getting stronger, whatever. They each had their own little story. And so I reached out to my upline and I was like, how can I do this full time? Like, this just feels like you shouldn't get paid for it. And anyway, so my upline was like, oh, well, here's, the training, blah, 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 and she was like, what changed? What made you decide to like really go all in? And I was like, well, for one, I believe in the products. Like the workouts work. The eating healthy works. And I wanted my daughter to see a healthy lifestyle. I didn't want to pass it down. Like my mom had been on a diet my whole life. She's still like always on a diet. And I didn't want that. I didn't want that for my kids. I didn't want to pass down the struggles of self-esteem and that type of thing. And I wanted to help other women feel the same way I did. And I wanted to help other women who were living in poverty to be able to get out of that situation. And I wanted people who were, just wanting to make a little extra money on the side to give them that opportunity. And so I started coaching and I haven't looked back. But the thing that's the biggest thing for me, and I really want to make sure that I harp in on this point, is that for me, I shared this earlier. I really wanted to be a foster mom. I really wanted to adopt. And with my current job before, there's no way that I could have. There's no way I could have gone to all the meetings, the visitation, the extra doctor's appointments, the meeting with consultants and the meeting with caseworkers and things like that. There's no way I could have done that working an hour away from home and being gone 11 to 13 hours a day. So it's not just the fact that I was going to be away from my daughter. Like it gave me a dream that Tony and I had always had, and that was to be able to do foster care and now to even adopt. And the biggest thing I want all of you who are listening to think about is just like, at what point do you start living a life where you get to hold on just a second. My husband is trying to mount a TV. He does not know how loud that is. Pause for a second. Babe, you cannot do that right now. That is so loud. I felt like you shook the whole house. It's just a little bit longer. His face is like, no. He's so excited. He just bought this TV mount for our room. Okay, well, just wait until I'm done with my part, and then I'll put it on you. Oh my gosh, that was so loud. I don't know if it was as loud on your end as it was on mine, but I was like, ah! Anyways, great timing, Tony. But anyways, so I want everyone to be able to just like live a life where they don't have to say no to things because of time and money. And the cool thing is that you're going to learn a lot about health and fitness, and you're going to feel so much better with the energy that you have from eating healthy and drinking Shakeology and working out. But like what it gives is so much more than that. Having the ability to just have time freedom, and like today, just being able to like play with my kids all day and not worry about it. And, just being able to, like I threw this ridiculous adoption party because I could, and just being able to do that was an amazing feeling. And we had to pay for her adoption out of pocket, for all the lawyers and fees and things. And, thankfully, since it was through foster care, it wasn't awful, but I know that before, there's no way I could have had an extra $1,000. I would have been pushing it back. Like, how are we going to save up for this? Begging for people, please help us to be able to adopt our daughter. I remember our missions trips. We were like, please, anybody give us money to go on these missions trips. And then the last trip we went on, the whole entire trip was funded from Beachbody. So just that freedom. I just feel like when you're struggling financially, you feel like you're just like a slave to your finances. And so I don't know, for me, it's been so much more than just health and fitness. So that's been a huge part of it, of course. But for me, it's just really just seeing that financial freedom. So I'm going to hand the mic off to our next sharer, which I believe is Megan. Megan? Emily? Megan? Yeah, sure. Megan's like, sure, I'll go.
Sure. All right. Well, hi, everybody. It's nice to see faces and hear voices that I don't normally get to see and hear. So as far as my story goes, I'm probably going to focus a little bit more on the health and fitness part of it, because that has honestly been the biggest part of our journey by far. Financially speaking, I'm very fortunate to be in a job that I actually love to do, and it's something that I'm not going to anticipate, quitting anytime soon. So for me, this is kind of more of a little side hobby. It's kind of turned into that. But when we first began, my husband and I, we were just ready. We were ready for some sort of fitness thing. We had tried like a bajillion different things, Herbalife, the Atkins, like you name it, any little thing we tried, and it just never stuck. Like we'd do okay for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden it was just be back to our normal routine of, you know, not really caring at all about what we ate or doing any workouts or anything like that. I had just had my son. I have 3 kiddos, and we were just ready. I don't even know how to say it, and I think that helps me a little bit with the customers that we talk to, because they honestly have to be ready. They have to know that it's their time and that, you know, it's something that they want to do right away, because otherwise there's not a lot that you can do to help them. So, but it's in an awesome position to be able to help them with these products and with these workouts, because, like Kendall said, we just know they work. They're just awesome. So anyway, my husband and I, we didn't start as coaches. We started as customers, about 2 years ago now. Within the first, I would say like 3 or 4 months, we were down by like 40 pounds between the two of us. It worked really well for us. We just kind of started to share our journey a little bit, you know, online and with our friends and things. And then it was Candlin who was like, all right, girl, like you're already doing what coaches are doing, so you might as well just go for it. And she's like, plus you get a discount on Shakeology. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. So that was pretty much how we got started. I put Robert under me as a coach also, so it was helped that side right away, which was pretty awesome to get started. As far as our nutrition was concerned, kind of like Kendall, I grew up in a household with like fad diets left and right. My father's really overweight, still is, and he's one of those that just he isn't in a position to really want to change anything at this point. You know, my mom, God bless her, like always tried really hard to get him to do stuff that, you know, would help him and stuff. But again, he just didn't want it. And so she's kind of fallen on that path as well, because it's really hard. You know how it is when you don't have the support at home and people with you to push you and stuff like that. So a big reason I wanted to stay fit and all that, of course, too, like Kendallin, is for my kids. I want them to see what it's like to live in a healthy household, and to not just to kind of completely change our dialogue when it came to health and fitness, that you should, you know, eating nice is good for your body and working out is good for your body. Look what your body can do. Like, look at that workout that you just did. That is celebrating what your body can do for you. Like, instead of, oh, do this workout so that you're not fat. You know, like that was the dialogue that I grew up with. And so, you know, it's just the coolest thing to see our kids, like they'll jump in on workouts with us, and I want to work out with you, mommy. I want to exercise. Like, it's just the coolest thing to hear them say that every now and then. You know, the other day, as a matter of fact, we were talking about getting like containers or something, and my oldest is going into 2nd grade and my second oldest is going into kinder, and so they're finally going to the same school again together. They were away for a couple years. And so they were talking about how they can bring their lunch to school. And she was like, I can use these container for my carrots, you know? And it's like, carrots? Like, what kid says that? You know, and it's not like we're completely healthy with them. They friggin' just had like a shake from Sonic, but they still know that, you know, we have healthy dinners. They know what healthy food is. And, you know, and I think that they just see that, and we're modeling that for them. And something that I'm really proud of, I think, so that they can kind of see how we feel energized and stuff like that as well, because we have so much more energy for them nowadays than we used to in the past. So like I said, another not like I said, I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. But also the other thing, like I said, is my hobby. That's what I was going to say. Kind of more of a side hobby, you know. Again, like I said, we put on our journey on Facebook, kind of started sharing a little bit about what we were doing. And it's just inevitable that people are like, what are you doing? What's happening? And so they want to question you and ask you about it. So that's pretty much where we get my customers from, and, you know, reached out to family and things like that. But I think that that's a huge testament to this company and to this team, that I can even do it as a hobby, because I know a lot of other businesses that are similar to this are like super pressuring their people and, you know, making them not be coaches anymore because they're not producing or whatever that situation is. So just being around these amazing women and people in this community keeps us going. And, you know, you can go anywhere from Candlin, who's like super rock star, hardcore, full-time, super awesome, and can do it and make her money for her family. And then you can be like me, who's like, I'm doing it for us and for our health. And yeah, we maybe make a little bit of extra money on the side, but being able to help people is kind of our main purpose. So anyway, that's pretty much it for me. But
that's actually one of my favorite things, and I love hearing your story, Megan, because it is so different than mine, but at the same time, you've been such an asset to this team, because One, you're a teacher, so you come up with great ideas. Um, and you're a little more organized than me, but also just like there are coaches clear across the fence. We have coaches who literally just use it for the discount. And then we have coaches who are like, I'm all in. I'm going to do this until I hit the millionaire club, and basically everything in between. So I love that. Emily, I can't wait to hear your story. And I see your little tiny people in the background.
I know they're supposed to be going to bed, but for some reason they're like, ooh, a screen's on. I want to watch that screen.
Yeah, Tony just sent me a video of Dahlia upstairs in her bedroom singing in front of the window. Her bedtime was an hour and a half ago. It's fine.
Yeah, summertime messes that all up. So I came to coaching in a completely different way than both of you. I mean, if you had said to me 3 years ago, Beachbody coach, I would have been like, oh, she's tan, she's got a 6-pack, like she spends a lot of time at the gym. I don't know who this lady is, but we are not friends. And there's absolutely there is no way that that's me. That's not it at all. And Candlin posted someone's picture at some point. I don't even know who it was, and I will never ever know because she had no head. Like, you just posted her body. So I will never ever know who this person was. But you know what? She started off like overweight, and she ended up not being tan and six-packed and like infomercial-ish. She was more fit, but she still was like on a journey. And I thought, oh, okay, so Beachbody isn't like, it's not the infomercial that I see on TV late at night where it's like skinny fat to like really toned and awesome. Okay, I get that. That's something, that's a product that I am willing to try. And I grew up in a household, my mom's an immigrant, my grandparents are immigrants. I grew up in a household where like health and fitness isn't a thing. Like living the American dream is a thing. Being financially secure is a thing. Owning your own home, not having debt, that's a thing. But health and fitness it was never even something that I don't even think people thought about it. My grandparents worked in fields that kept them physically fit. And my mom was just, I think, blessed with really good genetics because she was always fit and thin. We'll say thin. She's thin, but she's got bird bones, but thin. And so, yes, bird bones. I'll say that to her face. She knows that I say that. But, it was something that it wasn't like a lifestyle thing that I even could understand. So when Candlin approached me about doing the 21-day fix, I was like, I'll give it a shot. Like, it's certainly not like I've tried anything else and been successful. I homeschool. So leaving 3 children to try to go to a gym, like that's a fiasco all in itself. So I tried it and I was like, oh wow, it works. It works. And it's not about being thin. It's about learning how to eat, because I'm not sure that anyone ever said like, these are these things, like these are vegetables. Yeah, I know that. But these are carbohydrates and these are healthy fats, and here's how much you should eat of this and here's how much you should eat of that. And it was just, it's not a crazy diet plan. It's not like Megan said, it's not like Atkins where there's a book and it's, it's hard to follow. It's so simple. It's like you put it in this box, you eat what's in the box. Really simple, really straightforward, and totally changed my thoughts on nutrition, the ideas of nutrition. And I realized that, gosh, if I don't know that, I mean, I'm a college educated person and I still did not have a concept of how health and fitness could work, and that you work out because it makes you happy and it makes you not be depressed and it makes you a better parent and a better person and a better partner, and you eat healthy because it does all of those things for you too. And gosh, like if I didn't know those things as like a pretty smart adult, there are probably people out there who don't know that too, and those are people that I can reach out to, and those are people that I can help. And no one has to be tan and no one has to have a 6-pack, and you can just be a better you. You can be somebody who works out and is therefore a better wife, a better mother, just better at being you because you're happy. And that's something that I was like, oh, okay, I could share that. When Candlin approached me about coaching, I was like, oh no, I don't do that. That's no, that's not for me. And when she was like, it's just about helping people. It's about changing lives and bringing your story and why it works for you, not why it works for Candlin or why it works for Megan or Jen, why it works for you, because those people are your tribe and that works for you. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. And it has been great for me because I've been able to share with people the same information that I got. I've been able to help people who, you know, looked at life as challenges and hurdles and been like, oh, you know what, I've been in my own way. Like, I've been in my own way and I'm gonna get out of my own way. And I see that, like, you aren't like the 1 pound wonder, and yet you still do this and it makes you happy and you're empowered by it. And that's amazing. And the other reason that coaching has been so awesome for me is that because I homeschool, it's not like I go to a job every day and hang out with other grown-ups. I hang out with kids all day. And Megan, I know you get to hang out with kids all day too, but you have other teachers to talk to. I have just some kids. And and sometimes it's nice to talk to a grown-up. And I have built these beautiful friendships, these people that I can like message in the middle of my crazy day and be like, oh God, let me just tell you what's going on right now. And I've met those people through coaching. I have, my team of coaches have become my good friends and my tribe of people that I go to for everything. And other people that I've met just because I'm a coach and because I now have this confidence to reach out to people, have become better friends of mine. And so coaching has really it's made me reach out of my introvert shell and talk to people that I probably would have never talked to because I prejudge and I don't talk to anybody. And it's done that for me. So it's something that I feel like it's given me confidence in my just leave my house with no makeup life. It's given me friends. It's given me a support system. And it's also given me a whole idea of how health and fitness works and why it's important to me and how I've been able to teach my children that as well. Because unlike me, they grew up in a household where you work out. It's what you do. You work out. You eat out of these little boxes and it all makes sense. And their food choices, I don't make 6 meals a day. I don't make one thing for me and one thing for them. So their food choices are like, well, would you like Greek yogurt or would you like carrots? Like they don't even have foods for them that are just packaged and are bad for them because it just doesn't, it's something that I've learned. And if it works for me, I'm not going to be like, oh, hey guys, you go ahead and eat the potato chips and I'm going to eat the carrots. Not going to do that. So it's created a healthy lifestyle for them that they don't even know that there is an alternative. They have no clue at this point because they're too little. And that's really fantastic that it's been able to do all of those things for me, all because I said yes to a picture of somebody who had a successful journey. And I'm so grateful for that.
I couldn't find my unmute button. I just love your story so much, Emily. I'm like, I can't figure out how to make myself be able to talk. I love that we just have such everybody in this group has so many different stories. And I know exactly what you mean. We hear all the time, I can't be a beach body coach because I don't have a beach body. And honestly, I have found in my experience that most people who have a very successful journey in this aren't already, in perfect shape with the 6-pack abs and the tan skin. Most people, as they become a product of the product, they're showing that the products work. And so that's where they invite people on. And the cool thing is a lot of times you attract different people according to who you are. You know what I mean? So not everybody's going to attract the same type of person because not everybody has the same story and the same journey. So Jen, let's hear what you have to say.
Hey, I'm sorry I was late. I have a whole story that I'm not going to tell right now, but anyway, it's my fault. So,
It's okay.
sorry. So I guess my whole story is kind of mostly based on the last year of my life, I guess. So to start out with, I guess before that, I have this whole history, this whole background before this year of eating disorders. And I would not eat for, I wouldn't really eat anything during the day. I would eat something salty because then it would bloat me up and make me feel full, which is ridiculous because it would make me really sick. And then I would feel sick all day because all I ate was something salty. And then I wouldn't eat anything else. Or once I got past the point where I wasn't restricting myself anymore and I got to college, the whole anorexia probably went on from 3rd grade until college. Once I got to college and I kind of gotten past that point and was like, okay, God made you the way that you are and you deserve to take care of yourself. Not that I did anything great in order to earn it, but that I felt well, you know, your body is something that you need to protect and that you need to fill with fuel and you need to take care of. So I was starting to get the right idea about food. But then I would binge eat because then I was like, look at all the times I didn't eat. I could totally eat this whole bag of chips because I didn't eat anything for like 12 years. So if I have like 3 donuts, it's really not a big deal. So then I started night eating so that no one would find out that I was binge eating. I was just a mess. So I just had like created another problem. I didn't fix anything. I just traded it, you know? And in the midst of all of this, in my whole life, you know, I've always been dealing with depression and anxiety and PTSD and fear and like tons of there's a bug in my house, sorry. Tons of self-doubt, and obviously I'm very distractible. And trying to be a perfectionist. Like this morning I got up and I was like, it's a really nice day. I'm going to go to the park with the kids. I'm going to get all sweaty and like, I'm not going to take a shower this morning. And then it was like 7 o'clock. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't shower and I have to do this video. And old me would have gone and taken a shower and like washed my face and done thing. I would just, and I was like, oh, my shirt is not really great. I should really change. And then I would have spent 20 minutes trying to change my clothes because you can see this much of my body in front of this fireplace that we plan on changing. I would have never put that in the video because I don't like gold. Like, I mean, it was just like ridiculous things where I know Emily's like, you're sad. It was just like, I had to make everybody, she's laughing because this is her, I bet. That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm a therapist and that's what I do. I attack other people too. No, I'm just kidding. But I just was so concerned about what everybody else thought that it became my own thoughts, you know, and I had no thoughts of my own. I mean, I was relatively rebellious, but I thought I was rebellious, and what I really was miserable. And I've learned in the past year that those are very different. When I look back on my life and when all the times where I thought I was being like cool and rebellious, and I was like, I don't like any of that stuff because I'm cool, and I don't want to do that because I'm cool, and I'm not going to work out in front of people because I'm cool. What it really was is I don't want to work out in front of people because I don't want people to see me. And I don't want them looking at my stomach, and I don't want them like checking out like, are your arms, because my arms are never in shape because I have like chicken arms. Maybe I have bird bones. I don't know. But like I can't get strong. I swear. I have gotten stronger in the past couple of months. But like my whole life, I was like, I have no upper body strength. I cannot pick up this vacuum. I cannot move it to this room because I cannot lift the vacuum. And my whole life has just been fear, pretty much. And so the last 12 months, we moved from Pennsylvania in a place we were very comfortable, and picked up and moved to West Virginia, which I never expected us to ever go to. And I know my husband did not ever expect us to go to. It just was kind of one of those things where like it was the right thing to do, but it was a very hard thing to do. And when we got here, our youngest daughter, her name is Ellie, and she is 2. When we got here, she was about 1.5 years, and her health just like went downhill. I was working full time. My son was in school, and my husband was working full time. He's a youth pastor. And so we're all working, and Ellie was in daycare, and she had not been in daycare yet. She had been like out in the world, but not in a daycare setting. And when we got here, we found out that everybody and their brother has really terrible allergies where we live. Even if you don't have allergies, you have them here. And we kept having to pick her up from daycare and take her home. And we didn't know why, and we didn't know what was going on with her. And, you know, we had started trying to give her like allergy medicine. We're like, maybe it's just allergies. And she's not used to daycare, so it's going to take her a while to get used to all of the, you know, germs. I mean, no matter how, the daycare here is great. They clean it like, I mean, I've watched them clean it. They are good. I've worked in daycares. This is a good daycare. And they're awesome with her. And she did not hate going, but every time she went, she would get sick, and she could not get better. Like she never could recover from what she had. So we were at the doctor all the time. We spent at least $1,000 just in copays to go to the doctor for Ellie, just her. And it was really stressful, and it was hard on our marriage, and it was hard on our lives because we were starting to be concerned that there was like an autoimmune disease or something that was targeting her system that she couldn't ever recover. Like we started talking to the doctor about like, well, do you think she has cancer? Do you think she has some kind of disease, like some kind of autoimmune disorder? I mean, that runs in my family. Do you like, could it just be really severe asthma? Like what is wrong with my child that she suddenly is sick all the time? And she never got well enough that we could even test anything. So we were just kind of afraid all the time. For the entire month of December into January, she had a fever of over 101. The whole month. It never went away. It never stopped. And I know the doctor was like, it's okay. Like, her body's just fighting things. It's okay. You can have a fever for a long time. I'm like, you should not have a fever that long, you know? So the anxiety came back full force, and the depression came back, because she is a very joyful, crazy person. And if you're friends with me on Facebook and you see pictures of her, she's just like the definition of joy, you know? It's just what she is. Like, she's just hilarious and so fun. And she just was not joyful at all. She would just sit. She wouldn't play. She wouldn't move around. She wouldn't run. She didn't laugh. She barely smiled. She just sat there because she was so sick all the time. She was in the hospital. We are still paying the hospital bills. I mean, like, it was just the opposite of everything that you want. You know, I mean, it was terrible. And we're just watching her, like, disintegrate. Like, we're watching her personality just into nothing. And, you know, and I was a teacher, and so I was really concerned about, like, her development and how is this going to impact her. And there's just a lot of fear when your kid is sick for a long time and you don't know if she's normal sick or if there's more to it. And so we ate our way through it. My husband and I, that's just how we did it. We just ate our way right through the problems. And so I didn't really gain that much in terms of numbers, but I gained a lot in terms of nothing fit. Like, I could not close my biggest pair of pants. If you can hear my that's her crying because she doesn't want to go to bed. Sorry. That's my life. None of my children ever want to go to bed. So I tried to do stuff on my own to lose the weight, but, like, none of my clothes fit. Like, even I was wearing, like, I was at the point where I was going to try on my maternity pants. That's where I was, because I was not buying new clothes because I am cheap, and I was not doing it. And one day I tried all this stuff and it wasn't working. And I was trying, like, we were trying to go gluten-free. We tried all of these things to see if it would help Ellie and if it would help us lose weight. Nothing worked. And one day my friend Bex was like, hey, I have this friend that you should really talk to. You guys are like the exact same person, and I don't know why I haven't thought of this sooner. You should meet this friend I have called Candolyn. And I'm like, well, that's a weird name, but okay. So she's rolling her eyes. So I'm sure she's got I have a boring name, so I would like to have an exciting name. She's like, you should talk to my friend Candolyn. And I was like, okay. So then we were talking a little bit, and Candolyn did not try to, like, reel me into the Beachbody world at all. We were just talking, and we were talking, and I was like, oh, I tried Beachbody last year, but I didn't really ever, like, I wouldn't allow myself to actually do it. I tried it for like a month, and I liked the shakes a lot, and I could tell when I stopped using them, but I felt way worse. And I liked exercising, but I started to get, like, crazy with the eating disorder stuff again, because I felt like my whole world was kind of out of control. I said, so I don't think I was approaching it the right way, is what really happened. And she's like, well, if you want to try it again, I think it'd be good for you. But if you try it again, I think you should become a coach. And I was like, because I'm super in shape. That sounds like a great idea. She's like, no, I think that it would be good for you because it would keep you accountable. And I'm like, well, I don't want to pay money for people to, like, I don't want to pay to be a coach, to be accountable to somebody else. People could just say, hey, you're getting kind of chubby. And I'd be like, shut up. And then that's accountability. I like that. And she's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you save money on the Beachbody stuff if you're a coach. And I was like, oh. So I could try this thing that already worked, except it would be $15 cheaper this time. Okay. So I talked to Nate. I was really nervous. I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, so I've been thinking about doing this thing that I already tried once and gave up on. I was wondering if maybe you thought that'd be a good idea since we don't really have any money, because I had to quit my job to take care of Ellie. We couldn't put her in daycare anymore. She was too sick. So I had to quit my job. We were living on a youth pastor salary. It doesn't matter how good that youth pastor is getting paid, unless they are literally super famous. You are just, like, you're getting paid like a normal human, you know? I mean, you're living on one salary. We have 2 kids. We live in a nice town that has expenses. I shop at Aldi, but it's still, you know, like, it's tight. Things are tight. We had hospital bills to pay. I was like, so I thought maybe I would pay some money to try this thing that I gave up on before. What do you think? Does that sound good? Sound great? I think it sounds great. And he was like, that sounds terrible, but maybe. So then I was talking to Kendallin, and she said, what are your other options? What else are you going to do if you don't do this? And I've never, I think of that every single day. You know how those little things that somebody says to you and you keep them and you hold on to them? And she's like, what else are you going to do? What are your other choices? What if this works? Will it hurt anything to try it? Not really. But if I don't try it, what option do I have? I mean, I would like to homeschool my son. If you know him, which some of you watching will know him, he's just, he's a special little person. He learned how to play chess on his 4th birthday, and he reads like 5th grade books, and he's just gifted, and he needs to be in an environment that's good for him. And I want to be able to stay home with him, but I can't do that. I need to go back to work unless I make some money. She's like, well, then how are you going to make money to stay home with him? What's your plan? Do you want to put Ellie back in daycare? No. So what's the plan? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a therapist, so I could pick up some hours and do these things. And what am I going to do with my kids while I'm working? I mean, Ellie's going to go to daycare, So I figured I would try it. So we tried it. And I felt so much better. And I didn't have to drink 14 cups of coffee a day, because Shakeology feels like coffee, even though it's not. And it just gets you through, it's awesome. And I like it. And it tastes like a chocolate milkshake so much that my son wants to drink it every day. And I know there's recipes you can put with it, but I don't do any of those because I just like it. So then Nate was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm drinking chocolate. What are you doing? Drinking that yummy water? That looks tasty. And so then he was like, well, I'm not going to drink that. I'm like, okay. So then one night, it was a couple weeks later, and he's like, can I just try? Do you have any extra? I was just going to try it. I just wanted to see what it tasted like. Okay. So he made one, and he's like, it's really good. Yeah, it actually is really good. You're right. So then all of a sudden he's like drinking shakes every day, but he has some health stuff going on, and he cannot exercise. Like, he can do normal everyday activity if he rests afterward, but he cannot exercise. He lost 20 pounds, which is more than I lost, because that sucks, because men are like that. He lost 20 pounds since the beginning of May. I am halfway to my goal. I've lost like half of my weight, but it doesn't even the numbers anymore. I don't care, because my weight's one of those weights where I'll get up in the morning and I'm like, did I even lose any weight? But my clothes fit and they're smaller. My numbers don't match up with what's going on in my life. So I don't even go by that. My old clothes fit. The clothes I was wearing when I moved here fit now, which is before all the stress eating. So that is what I care about. I don't have to buy new clothes. I can buy new clothes because they're smaller, and all my chubby clothes I can give away at my yard sale, But I have so much more energy, and I have hope, because I did not have any hope before. And my depression is 1,000,000 times better, because exercise is an antidote for depression. I'm a therapist. I can say these things. It's actually true. I don't feel miserable 90% of the time. 10% is just because I'm a miserable person. But the rest of it, it's true. But I actually, I think I'm getting so peppy that it's annoying people, because they're like, who are you? Are you pretending now? I'm like, no, I'm actually just in a good mood. I'm confident, and this is apparently what I look like when I'm confident. We wouldn't know, because I haven't been there before. But this is apparently what it's like. And I just feel like that's something that I need to share with people. And I like extra that I get paid for it, because then it provides the things that I need for my family, and it gives me a chance to be myself, and I don't have to do it in a way that I feel uncomfortable with. I can just be whoever I am, which is quirky, and I can be healthy. Because I think that, today I stopped and I had a BLT, and I feel slightly ashamed admitting that, but I don't feel bad that I ate it, because it was delicious and I needed it in my life. I haven't had it since I was pregnant with Micaiah, and I drove in a different town, and there was the restaurant that had these things, and it was like my pregnancy craving, and I was like, you know what? I don't have to feel guilty about eating this, because it is okay in a healthy lifestyle to treat yourself once in a while. And it's also okay that I ate grilled chicken and peppers for dinner, and it was delicious, and it tasted just as good as that BLT, except it was actually healthy. You know what I mean? And I got to drink my chocolate milkshake today. All of that stuff is just part of a healthy lifestyle. And I feel like I needed to be a coach, because I needed someone externally to be there saying, you can do this. Like when I messaged Kendall and I'm like, I suck. This is not working. I am not good at this. I am really trying not to eat chips at night. I really am trying. I am really like not doing well today. And she's like, it's okay. Like it's a lifestyle, and life means that you're learning every day. You know, you need those people around you. And sometimes you just need the extra boost. And I think that coaching has given me that. It's given me a team of people, and it's given me hope. And I didn't have any of that before. So that's my story.
I love you, Jen. I think you could probably do the whole call by yourself.
Don't let me talk that long, because I can't. No control.
Okay, so I'm just going to end with like the nitty gritty details about how to get started and all of that fun stuff. So hold on real quick. I've got to remember how to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so what is coaching? The first picture I have is just, I got to figure out how to make this a slideshow. Just kidding. Okay. The first picture is just my before and after. I could have done everybody's before and afters on here, but I'm going to try and keep this kind of short. We literally have had coaches, and we've had coaches who've had to gain weight when they got started because they had struggled with anorexia and bulimia, and then we've had coaches lose over 70 pounds on our team. So we've kind of had everything in between. This is one of my transformations. This is after I had Atticus. So what does a coach do? We share our journey on social media. We encourage everyone, especially clients, to be the best version of themselves, not just health and fitness wise, but you'll notice that we're just a big positive group of people, and the energy is positive and it's exciting. And we want to encourage everyone to do the same. Just going back to the sharing your journey on social media, it starts off a little scary, just to even admit, I'm starting to work out or I'm starting to eat healthy, but you would not believe the excitement and encouragement that people will give you. I know pretty much every coach I've ever had has been really nervous to share at first, and then they've just been reached with positivity and people being so excited for them that it kind of boosts you a little bit as you keep going. The other thing we do is we host challenge groups. So this is not something you'll do on your own at first. This is something you'll do with the team. Let's say you get 1,000,001 clients of your own, then you'll probably break off by yourself or a newer coach. But you're by all means always welcome to do our challenge groups with Inspiration Nation. But basically what that is just an accountability and encouragement group. Every month we try and do something a little bit different to keep it exciting. The next thing is we're a product of the product. You've heard everyone share about it. We drink Shakeology. We do our workouts. We try and eat healthy. But just like Jen said, it is a lifestyle. So there are going to be times that, you're eating out with your family and you're like, you know what, I'm going to splurge a little bit. That's okay. You don't have to be 100% perfect, but the idea is that we're on this lifestyle and we are, trying to fuel our bodies the best that we can. We do what I call the power of threes. You just send messages. Basically, it's like connecting with old friends. I always say it's kind of like what I feel like it makes me be a better friend than I would normally, because I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to reach out and see how this person's doing or how they're doing or whatever. And it's not spammy or weird. It's just like, hey, girl, how you been? What's going on in your life? And honestly, just like Emily said, I'm also a stay-at-home mom, so it's like one of the only times I get to talk to adults, so I kind of love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody to communicate with. I love this story. And then what we were talking about earlier was sharing your journey on social media. We do that as well through our posting. And then networking. We're going to teach you how to meet new people. So perfect example of the coaches who have shared on this call. Megan, I did know from 10 years ago maybe, but we hadn't probably talked in 8. No, that's a lie. You've been a coach for 2 years. We hadn't talked in probably at least 6 years, wouldn't you say? And then Jen, I did not know her in real life. I met her through our friend Bex. And then Emily, I met her through a cloth diaper group. So we'll teach you how to meet people through social media. And I'm telling you right now, it has brought me some of the best friends of my entire life. Like, I definitely don't think I could do this crazy motherhood thing without this amazing support group. But I love it, and we'll teach you how to do that. Do you need to be in shape to get started? We've already talked about this a little bit, but no, you do not. I've said this before. Quite honestly, most of our coaches start off on their journey to be in shape, and I feel like they do better than the people who do have those washboard abs. I don't think anyone on our team has washboard abs, actually. Ask Tony. He'd probably say he does. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Okay, how do you make money doing this? Okay, so first off, you get 25% commission on everything you sell. People fall in love with Shakeology, so a lot of times they stay on Shakeology every month. I can tell you this last week alone, I was looking through my commission, and I sold one thing, and my paycheck was significantly higher than it was when I worked my normal job. I literally only sold one thing. So your commission, you start off making just commission, which, like I said, is about 25%. So let's say you sell a challenge pack and make $50. It's nice to make $50, but eventually you're going to have a lot of people who just love Shakeology and stay on it. But also building a team, you get a lot of different cycles, or bonuses through team cycles, and I won't explain all of that right now, but basically eventually that's where the most of your money will come from. So like I said, most of my paycheck this last week was through Shakeology and through team building. You also get, this is the other part of my check that was quite a bit. You get free customers just for doing your job. So if you help 3 to 5 new customers every single month, you get free customers. And what's so amazing right now is we're about to break into the United Kingdom, and there are a ton of people there where they will spend millions of dollars on advertising who don't have a coach. So the amount of free customers we're going to get is about to go up significantly. The other part is your upline bills your downline. So Megan, I have no idea how many coaches I've put under you, but of the 3 of the people on here, I put the most under you, I think. There are a crap ton of new coaches under you. So I would say, I don't know, probably 20 coaches that I've put under you myself. So the cool thing is that you're not building this by yourself. It's really a team model. It's, they always joke about, is this a pyramid scheme? Well, no, if somebody else is building half of your team for you, surely it is not a pyramid scheme. So why Beachbody over other companies? One, the teamwork model that I just told you. I mean, the fact that people can help you build your team, that's insane. I don't even know why they do that. They've got to be like, it obviously works, but I just wonder how they make any money. You don't have to have any home parties or online parties. You're not spamming your clients or your friends with joining, this thing where they are forced to buy something or feel guilted into buy something. The positive atmosphere is amazing. Free advertising. Like I said, Beachbody spends millions of dollars on advertising every single year. So we might as well participate in a company that does that for us. And then the amazing team community. Like, this team is literally, like, the ladies on this team are my best friends. They are who I talk to about everything. I have a success partner, Lacey, who lives in Texas. Actually, she lives really close to Megan, which is really funny. And, had I not become a coach, she would never have become my friend. But she literally sobbed when I sent her the video of our daughter getting adopted. And she's like, don't you tell anyone I cried, because she's really tough, and I just told all of you guys. But anyways, it's just an amazing team, and the ladies are fabulous. It's also a young company that's growing really fast. Like I said, we first started in just the United States, and we spread to Canada. Now we're going to the United Kingdom. It's insane, and it's awesome. So how to get started? There are a couple different ways. One, you could just pay a coaching fee of $40. I don't recommend that because you don't actually get to try the products. And how do you be a product of the product if you're not doing that? Plus, you kind of just throw that $40 away. You could buy the very cheapest challenge pack, which is $140. You'll get 1 workout and a month's supply of Shakeology. Or you can get the All Access Pass, which was originally $200, but it's on sale right now for $160. And you get access to literally every Beachbody program, for a year on demand. So how that would work is your coach will help you figure out what workout to get started with for your first challenge that month. You'll do that workout. The following month, you'll evaluate. Are you ready to move on to a harder workout, or you want to stick with the same one? Every single month for the next year, that's what you'll do with your coach. And the cool thing is I've had people who started with this All Access Pass in January who have now completed 5 or 6 programs. I just talked to a girl, she's lost 47 pounds since January. Like, that's insane. And she's so proud. She's like, when I started this, I could have never thought I could do a push-up. I never thought that I could do, plank for a minute. I never thought that I'd be able to do some of these things that I'm doing. And it's because she started on a beginner program, and now every month she's consistently been able to move up to a harder one. So you get a month's supply of Shakeology, which breaks down to approximately $4 per shake. You get the meal program that teaches portion control and a balanced diet, which is approximately $10. And then you get all those workouts for a year for only $20. Like, it is insane. It makes no sense. I have no idea why they have this sale going on, because I was selling it like hotcakes when it was at $200. So the fact that it's $160 just blows my friggin' mind. But yeah, for that, you also, like we were saying, like Jen was saying earlier, you do get a discount on all of your products. So you get 25% off of everything you buy. There is a coaching fee, which is $15.95 plus tax, depending on where you live. I don't know how much that is, but for me, it's like $17.04 a month. But it's worth it for the discount. Reasons to become a coach: unlimited income based on how hard you work. So yeah, there's going to be some of you who are like Megan, who are like, I'm just going to do this on the side, make some money here and there, splurge and go on vacation with my family, or buy Christmas presents or something like that. Then there's going to be people like me who are like, I'm about to have my 4th kid under 4, and I'm not trying to be that hillbilly woman, barefoot and pregnant, who can't feed my kids. So I'm going to be a Beachbody coach and do it because of that. So it can be, like I said, clear across the board. The coach who mentors me actually on July 6th will be hitting the Millionaire Club. So, it's completely, the sky's the limit. It's up to you on how far you want to take it. And our team, we're not too pushy. Like, I try to figure out where you're at and what goals you have and meet you where you are. So there are times that you might want to push, and times that you're like, you know what, this is a tough month for me. I need to step back, and that's okay. We understand that. Just always let us know, whoever you're getting sponsoring under, where you're at, because I don't want to push you if you're not ready to be pushed, and I want to push you if you are. The next thing is you can win free prizes. I love to give gifts out. I'm not great at mailing, so you can pretty much always expect it to be later than when I say that I'm going to mail it. Like Megan one time, it was like so late by the time I sent her something. I was like embarrassed to even send it. Like, maybe she forgot that I said I would give her this gift because I'm so bad at it. However, if it's something from Amazon Prime, that I can get to on time. I just suck at going to the post office with 3 kids. Like, who wants to do that? Not me. But I promise I do give prizes, and I'm always looking for cool things. So if you like certain things, just tell me. Next, vacations. You can win free vacations. This year I won a trip to Punta Cana, all expenses paid. I actually had to say no to going, though, because our daughter wasn't adopted and she couldn't leave the country. So I did not get to go, but I did win it. And then, like I said, bonuses. There's tons of bonuses for everything you do, which is pretty awesome. You change your own life. And one of the biggest ways you'll change your life is through personal development. We are constantly talking about how to grow yourself as a person, and how to gain confidence and things like that. And just this team alone will help you in that area. Change others' lives. I mean, being able to watch my coaches and my customers transform their lives has been the biggest joy ever. It's like watching your little kids grow up. You're like, oh my gosh, they can walk. It's the same exact thing. You're like, oh my gosh, my girl's lost 47 pounds and she feels so good. That's just how, maybe I'm pregnant and emotional, but that's how it is for me. Live healthier life with more accountability. I can tell you right now, I would not be exercising at all right now pregnant if it wasn't because of being a coach. You make your own schedule, which is also awesome, and then you're surrounded by positive, goal-reaching people. Where did my thing go? Oh, I think that's it. That's fine. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I'm going to stop this share if I can figure out stop share. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? I'm actually going to stop the recording so it doesn't make it too long.